Hello. So I thought I'd put together, sometimes I have these little thoughts and it's really not long enough for its own video, but um, I thought I would put together a little compilation of just tiny things that are a little different. So one thing that I've realized by leaving America and living in a different country is that common courtesy is very cultural. So what is courteous in America might not be courteous here, and vice versa. And for Americans, before we moved here, one of the big things I read about was when Americans in particular go to live abroad, they kind of have this tendency to think that their way is the best way. This very generalized comment, but the biggest struggle Americans seem to have when living abroad is trying to adjust to the culture of the country that they are now a foreigner in. And I can see that. There is a little bit of a reputation here that Americans kind of think we've just, that we're it, like, yeah, and that we don't assimilate very well, and we kind of expect people around us to adapt to us instead of the other way around. So what I realized during that is what we think is courteous in America, we might find is not courteous in another country, and then we might be offended or think that it's rude, but it's really not rude. It's just that common courtesy is very cultural. So as I was thinking about that, I was thinking of all these little moments that I think, oh gosh, I should mention that. So as I think of them, I'll just record a little snippet and then I'll tie it all together. So in America, common courtesy would say that you hold the door open for people. And especially if you are aware somebody's right behind you, you hold the door open. You don't let it shut on them. Here in Korea, holding the door open for people is not a thing. Like, there's zero expectation that you will hold the door open for somebody or that they will hold the door open for you. So since there's no expectation of it, nobody's offended by the fact that they just let the door shut in your face, even though you're right behind them, because there's no expectation that they're gonna hold the door open for you. There is kind of this sense here of, I'm gonna get where I'm going, and you're gonna get where you're going. And we're just both gonna respect that. And I'm not gonna do anything out of my way for you to get where you're going. And I have no expectation for you to go out of your way to get where you're going, or for me to get where I'm going. So like, they don't hold doors open for people, and it's not seen as rude when they just let the door shut on you. They'll just stop walking in the middle of the sidewalk. Like if they need to check their phone, they're just gonna stop walking in the middle of the sidewalk. Well, in America, we'd be like, get the crap out of the way. What are you thinking? Well, here, no, they're gonna get where they're going, how they're gonna do it. I'm gonna get where I'm going, how I'm gonna do it, and nobody's gonna be offended by everybody's personal way of doing it. And if that means for the person walking in front of me that they stop in the middle of the sidewalk to check their phone, then they're gonna stop in the middle of the sidewalk and check their phone. And that's their prerogative, and it should not make me emotional or, angry. And I'm gonna get where I'm going, so if I bump into them, so be it, and I'll go around them. And there's no like sorry for me bumping into them because they're not offended by that. I'm gonna get where I'm going, So there is this sense of, I'm gonna get where I'm going. And everybody's in that mindset because there are 5 trillion gazillion people here. So if everybody had to stop and consider everybody else, nobody would get anywhere, I don't think. So it's not rude at all. Now, here's the flip side of that. They won't steal your stuff here. So you've seen this in other videos. I will, go to a store and leave a package outside because I don't want to carry it in, and it's still there when I come back like an hour later, so nobody steals my stuff. There's very much a respect of personal property here. Except with umbrellas and bicycles. I have read that sometimes people do just use bikes and umbrellas, even if it's not theirs. I've not experienced that. I don't have a bike, obviously. I did lose an umbrella, though. Now that I think of it. I did have an umbrella that wasn't there when I went to leave. So maybe there is something about that. But there's no, like, stealing mentality like that. So in America, sure, they'll hold the door open for you, but they'll steal your crap. Here, they won't hold the door open for you, but they will completely respect your property. So as I think of more things, I'll just kind of add them on to this video. Let me know if you have any questions. I was asked about masks. I'm still thinking about the best way to respond to that. So I'll do that in another little snippet on how we handle masks over here. But hope you enjoyed this string of videos, and that my hope always is that each little video makes you see or understand, or maybe just appreciate that there are different ways of doing things in this world. And if you get to learn a little bit more about another culture, then that's good. So hope you enjoy all these little snippets. Pedestrians. Pedestrians do not have the right of way here. Now, if you're crossing the road in a crosswalk and it's green for you to walk, yes, cars will respect that. Although, they still, like, if this is the crosswalk and you're walking across it, cars are gonna pull up and, like, be right at the crosswalk. Like, staring at you, waiting on the gas to go. Like, they're turning and they're at the crosswalk and you're walking and they're like that. But they will respect that. Otherwise, no. You just better watch out when you're walking around here. And it's because, again, everybody's going somewhere. And you get where you go, how you need to get there. And everybody's respectful of that. So there's 5 trillion, gazillion, bazillion pedestrians, right? There's a gazillion people living in this country, and especially in the city of Seoul. So there's so many people walking. If cars had to stop and be considerate every time somebody was crossing the street or whatever, they would never get anywhere. So as a pedestrian, you take your life into your hands, and you better look around and watch, especially like on little side alleys. A friend of mine actually did get hit by a car because I guess it was like a little one road alley and they hadn't scooted over enough and a car hit him. Now, I'm sure the person was very sorry. They don't mean to do that, you know, but they're gonna go where they're going, and it's up to you to make sure you don't get run over. And they don't really honk at pedestrians here, because I guess you'd just be honking nonstop. So yeah, if you are walking, you really need to be careful, even up on the sidewalks, because the scooter drivers that deliver groceries and dinner and everything else under the sun, a lot of times they will use the crosswalks and the sidewalks, and they're not supposed to, but they do. And there's almost an understanding that they're gonna do that because most all of us get things delivered to us and we want it delivered quickly, and we understand what they have to do that. So even on sidewalks, you're not safe. And sometimes people park their cars up on the sidewalk because there's no parking here. So if you want a Starbucks, you're gonna just stop in the road and park your car in the road, or you're gonna try to bump up on the sidewalk to run into the Starbucks. So there's just kind of an understanding that that is the way that it is. But when you're a pedestrian here, you really, really have got to pay attention, because no, they're not gonna stop for you because you're crossing the street, only in a green crosswalk. Otherwise, don't ever go under the assumption that the pedestrian has the right of way. If you're walking and someone's trying to get out of a parking lot, you're gonna stop. You're the one who's gonna stop, and the car is gonna go. That car is not gonna stop for you to walk across the street. And there's just kind of this appreciation and respect and knowledge that that's how it is. So be careful if you come here and you are on foot, because you don't have the right of way, and you just need to take care of yourself to not get splatted on the cement. Everybody's got a tiny dog here. If you have a dog here in Korea, it has to be tiny. And there are people who carry their dogs and have their dogs in a stroller, and they're all tiny. Another thing in Korea, public transportation is so good here. It's super convenient and it's super cheap. Anywhere you go, well, where you live in Seoul, a gazillion bus stops. It's like $1. Taxis are super cheap. So we don't have a car here, and it's not a problem at all. We can get anywhere. What do you think of the public transportation here?
I like it a lot compared to America.
Why?
Because it's easy and it's like not scary. Like it's not like Uber drivers would kidnap you. It's more safe.
Uber driver kidnappers. That's true.
Yeah.
That is a thing. But plus you like the bus.
Yes.
She does like riding the bus, yes. And in this case, when the bus is totally empty, it's really nice. Freedom of speech. So obviously South Korea doesn't have the US Constitution, right? But they do have different laws that protect freedom of speech. It does limit it a little bit. So I looked up more details about this, because what I have noticed personally is that every single weekend when we go downtown, when I say downtown, like the busy part of Gangnam where all the shopping is and stuff like that, every single time we've gone, there's a group protesting something. They're either protesting against something or they are there voicing support for something. And they typically have tables set up and big flags waving and megaphones and things that they're handing out. Sometimes they'll have like buses with big signs on it, and they take up a whole line of traffic going, and the cops are there, you know, escorting them and stuff, and they're loud on their thing. Every single time we've gone downtown, there's been something. Every single time we've seen it, there's not been any kind of unrest because of it. There's no like protesting against those people. There's nobody there screaming at them. There's no like counter protest or whatever. It's been very respectful every time we've seen it. I think that's probably the more social mindset here, where people are just gonna have a different belief than you, and that is okay. There's tolerance here for it, it seems like, at least. I did look up though, because you know, I still teach some students that are out in China, and I sent a Google Doc to one of them on a writing assignment, and they can't open it because China doesn't allow Google. So I looked up what exactly are any kind of limitations here in South Korea. There is a little bit of internet censorship. Like we can't get Spotify here. And I don't know what that has to do. It might not have anything to do with censorship. That could be a Spotify thing, I don't know. But there are certain things we can't get access to here online. And I looked up, so anything from North Korea you can be arrested for. If you are promoting North Korea, saying great things about them, if you have any books from North Korea, like that's illegal. You can get arrested and put into jail. They also are able to block certain things on the internet. So I was reading, there are things that they've kind of decided as a society that aren't good. And so they've blocked them. Now, it's things that I think most people would agree with, like pornography sites, gambling, stuff like that. And they're blocked. Now, I'm certain there's a way around it. Maybe you can VPN around it or something like that. But the government has blocked access to certain things like that. And I was also reading that like freedom of the press and stuff like that, there is a big thing about political disagreements, and they don't want that here. And I was trying to find the exact thing about it. Like it said something about, here it is. South Korea's government maintains a broad-ranging approach toward the regulation of specific online content and imposes a substantial level of censorship on election-related discourse. Now, can they block what you post on Facebook or Instagram or something? I don't know. Probably not. But they do try hard, is what it sounds like, to impose censorship on election-related discourse. And there's also cases of people who have been arrested for posting things bad about the government or bad about their boss. Like if you work at a school and there's somebody who, education, a professor was penalized for criticizing the chancellor of the school online. So they do try to be pretty strict about that kind of thing. But I have noticed, what I've seen personally is when people have a difference of opinion, it is respectful. It is a respectful difference of opinion. There might be old cases of uprisings or something like that, but there does seem to be a more communal mindset here where kind of you go along to get along. And if you have an opinion, yes, you can voice it in a certain respectful way, and then people should probably be respectful of your difference of opinion. So that is a difference here. I have yet to see anybody like fighting or arguing or anything like that about a difference of opinion. And there is kind of a major thing going on here because a former president, the first woman president of South Korea, got arrested. She's in jail for corruption. And it was originally 30 years in prison, and then they recently, like just recently, lowered it to 20 years. And I know that some of the protests that I've seen have apparently been in support of her, I think, or maybe lessening the prison term. I'm not totally sure. But what I have seen is just they get along better here. People just in general get along better here. So that seems to be a big difference. Convenience is off the charts here. Getting things delivered. Okay, the scooter guys that I referenced earlier who ride up on the sidewalk and all that, they're amazing. Last night we ran out of milk. I placed an order for milk and eggs. This morning I wake up to get ready for work. It's at our door already, milk and eggs. And it's no more expensive than if I went to the store. Milk here is quite expensive. And you can't get like a big gallon of it. So I think they don't drink much milk here, but we go through milk like water. Anyway, so milk is expensive anyway, but there's really no kind of upcharge for getting it delivered to you. It's like a way of life here, getting things delivered. So there's an app called Coupang, and they have everything under the sun. Clothes, furniture, toiletries, cosmetics. I mean, seriously, anything. We furnished half of our apartment through Coupang, but they also have a grocery section. So you can get whatever groceries that you need, and it's no more expensive than going to the store, and it just gets delivered to you. It is, the convenience factor here is so amazing. And apparently Coupang rivals Amazon out here, because Amazon, you still have to wait for it to be sent over, and a lot of times it has to go through customs, which is an added process. Coupang, If your item that you want has a little rocket ship next to it, that means you're basically getting it within 24 hours. So again, I ordered milk and eggs last night. It was at our front door this morning before 7 a.m. So I think this video is long enough to be a video now. I hope you have enjoyed this. I'm tying these little things together. If you guys have any questions or you're wondering about certain things, let me know. I know masks are still a question. I guess I never addressed that. Everybody still wears masks here. Masks were not a big leap here, to be honest with you, because the air quality is rather poor. Certain days really, really poor. We get a lot of, they call it fine dust and yellow dust from China, mostly, Mongolia. So the air quality is a little poor. And so people were kind of used to wearing masks outside because of that. So I don't think it was a big leap for them to, because of COVID, start wearing masks everywhere, all over the place. It is a government mandate that you wear a mask here. And if they catch you without one, you can be fined money. And there's even an app. People can take your picture and turn you in. So it is still a requirement here, even outside. You're hiking a mountain, you have to wear a mask. So, and again, it's not seen as a big deal here because they're more socially conscious. So it's less of an issue to kind of infringe on your individual rights because you're doing it for the sake of the community. I won't give my opinion on that. But yes, masks are still required here. You can be fined money. Vaccinations are very slow to roll out here. There was a big problem with the first batch of vaccines that came out. So that's been delayed, and they're still rolling out vaccines, but I don't know if the rollout is what's slow or people getting it is what's slow. I'm not totally sure, but I'm not sure if the mask requirement will change once there's a decent amount of people vaccinated here. Not sure. But that's kind of our situation on that. So anyway, I hope you've liked these little tidbits. Let me know if you've got any questions or subjects that you specifically want me to address. Otherwise, that's it.